Hi, welcome back to Smoking Cheltenham. How you doing? Hope you're good. Hope you're keeping warm. Winter's arrived, hasn't it? Yeah, winter's here. It's a bit chilly in here, to be honest. Right then, I haven't got much news about today. Mainly, all we're doing is just looking back at the race, and they're quite a bit, weren't they? I'm guessing about 45 minutes, but like that. We'll see. You know what I'm like. Um, just a bit of news, just sort of breaking news, if you like. You've got Ballyburn is entered up for the Morgiana and the beginners on Saturday at Punchestown. So, it's still not giving us um, much there, is it really? I expect it'll be the beginners. But yeah, he's entered for both. And Constitution Hill has took some work in the markets. He's not even favourite at the moment for the champion hurdle as I'm speaking to you. Um, Apparently, I mean, I'm not on social media out, as you might well know. This is the only thing I'm on. Not even ever had a Facebook out like that. So I don't know. But apparently, um, yeah, he got beat by Sergino in a gallop. I don't know. I mean, we don't know. We don't know what weights they're carrying and things like that, do we? So I don't know. But I don't know. He's only like a week away from running into Constitutional. You'd have thought he'd be sort of 90% there. I would anyway. I mean, I don't know much about training horses, but I'd have thought he'd be fairly fit by now if he's running next week. And you'd have thought a fairly fit Constitutional. He should be. He should really be breezing past anything, shouldn't he? Really, I'd have thought. So maybe there is something in it. Maybe there isn't. We'll see. But I'd say it's probably another red flag anyway. Isn't it? There's been plenty of those over the last year or so. I mean, I hope we get to see him. I do. I think any racing fan wants to see Constitutional because he's just a sight to behold, isn't he? So I hope we get the real Constitutional back. I do. Um, yeah, and that's that really. Right. So yeah, plenty to get through. We'll start with Friday then. Cheltenham going good to soft in places. Grade 2, 2 mile slower. John Bond, he beat Boot Hill a length and a half here. We Edwardstone, another 3/4 of a length back in third. He led all the way under like a positive ride, and he won snug at the line. You look at this horse, right? He's a top class horse, John Bond. 18 career starts, 15 wins. 15 out of 18, and the other three came second. That's some record, isn't it? There's plenty of grade ones in there as well. I know I've said before I can't have him at Cheltenham, as in the festival, and that's probably a bit of a harsh thing to say. Maybe not harsh, more stupid than harsh, you know. Horses don't make us look stupid. We make ourselves look stupid by talking about the horses. Um, and what I mean by that is I'm sure he's not at his best there. I'm sure he's not. I mean, Sandown, he looks fairly unbeatable to me. I don't think he's quite the same horse at Cheltenham. But he clearly acts around there. I mean, he's won a couple of times, hasn't he? But yeah, what I mean is, if you look at some previous winners of the champion chase, like Captain Guinness, put the kettle on, dodging bullets, you couldn't really say John Bond couldn't be beating those, really, I wouldn't have thought, not confidently. So he is capable of winning a champion chase, is the honest truth. It just depends what turns up on the day, doesn't it? Is it going to be like one of those champion chases, or are we going to get like an Ergmine or Spinter Sacra type of year where we've got like a real superstar? I'm hoping it's Gaelic Warrior this year, as you might well know, but we'll see. And even Gaelic Warrior, I'd say, probably wants it on the soft side, so, we'll see. But yeah. So yeah, you couldn't be putting a line through him for the champion chase. I'd suggest it's just what turns up on the day. It does look a race to me that it could cut up a little bit this year. We'll see. Right, Grade 2, 2 mile 5 novice hurdle. Potter's Jarm beat Valgrand 11 lengths here. Valgrand led and jumped noticeably well. Came under pressure at the bottom of the hill, where Potter's Charm just breezed past him and won as he liked. Potter's Charm, he looks a nice stayer. I'd say he could make up into an Albert Bartlett contender. I think he'd get lapped in a Ballymore. Maybe that's a bit harsh or stupid to say, but I'd put it this way, I don't think he's got the gears for a Ballymore anyway, to be a Ballymore winner. He could be an Albert Bartlett contender. Valgrand, it seemed a strange decision to me to step him up to 2.5, considering the pace he showed last time at 2. He's a noticeably slick jumper. Is Dan after getting his mark down a few pounds for a county hurdle? Maybe. He's got plenty of previous in that race, hasn't he? We'll see. Difficult to know, really. He went up a fair whack, didn't he, to 140. Early season form. He could be badly handicapped now, but you don't really know. He's a hard horse to get a handle on, I think. We'll stay at Cheltenham for Saturday. The going were again good to soft in places. 2 mile Grade 2 novice chase. Luda Sud beat Western Zephyr 11 lengths here. Yeah, he was good, weren't he? He were good here. He sat in a share of third for most of the race, then after 3 out running down the hill, Harry kind of peeled him off the rails and into a menacing looking third between what rivals. He hit the front 2 out. He was just getting a little shake up after the last, and he just careered away under minimal assistance from the saddle with an impressive victory. All roads lead to the Arkle now for this fella. The Arkle does look a really hot division this year. It really does. God, it's cold in here. It's some more coffee. Firefox in the pocket, down memory lane, have all been impressive. Nicky's got Sergino and Iberico Lord in the wings. Willie's not even started yet, has he? Yeah, he looks red hot, this Arkle, at this stage. But he could do no more than what he's done here, So then Navan, good to yield in here. After the third race, it was changed to good to yielding, or to yielding, good to yielding in places. Yeah. Two and a half maiden hurdle. Wingmen beat 40 Coats 3 lengths here. Wingmen led, 40 Coats followed a few lengths behind. Wingmen, he backed off the first and went to his right there. He went right at the third, at the fourth, at the fifth. 4 out, he kind of guessed, a bit messy there. He went right 2 out. 40 Coats tried to throw down a challenge between the last two, but you were never really getting Wingman off it. Wingman won tidying out to the right at the last, and he stayed on well to the line. Yeah, he's got a big engine, hasn't he? A little bit quirky, but he's got a big engine. He's talented. Cheltenham, you couldn't have on your mind, I wouldn't have thought, after this. He'll be going up in grade now, and you wouldn't be fancying backing him going left-handed. We'll see, but I'd suggest races like the Moscow Flyer at Punchestown and the grade 1 there at the end of the season festival would look good sort of targets for him. 40 Coats, he looks a nice horse, doesn't he? He stayed at it, he's likeable, he should make a nice chaser, yeah. Right then, 2 mile grade 3 novice hurdle. Blue Devassi beat Mr. Percy 5 lengths. Patter Merchant another 9 lengths back in third. Royal Hollow led. Blue Devassi took a clear second after the second. He tracked Royal Hollow all the way round, took it up 2 out, still swinging, while all his rivals were being ridden along. He eased around 4 lengths clear by the last and just coasted home for like a really impressive win here. Yeah, we flagged this fella up last time, didn't he? He looked a bit out of the ordinary for that time of year. You imagine natural progression, should be going for grade 1 next. He looks nice, doesn't he? Possible note of caution over the ground, maybe. He did win a bumper on soft to heavy eventually, but Gordon has mentioned a couple of times the ground could be the key to his improvement this year. So we'll just have to see how he gets on like winter ground. But yeah, bar that, he's, he looks a Supreme or Ballymore contender at this stage. Right, pardon me. 2 mile grade 2 for Trier Chase. Founder 50 beat Solness and Neck. Is Senesia another length back in third at 200 to 1. So we're like a length and a neck away from having a 200 to 1 winner here. Right, yeah. A lot kind of happened here. So I'm going to talk about the race mainly from Founder 50's perspective. He soon found himself last, but never more than sort of 5 lengths or so off the lead. 5 out, he sort of rapidly came through into share a second, and the field suddenly became more strung out at that point. He went right 3 out, he took it up 2 out, quickened a couple of lengths clear, looking likely for an easy enough win, but he were kind of steadied into the last, went right there, and by the end he wore out to hold on. Race fell apart here, and this is kind of terrible form for Grade 2, you'd say. Notably, Jack said he never gave him the same feel as the last day. He was turned out quickly, 2 weeks after Down Royal, and I think he was just a bit flat here, I'd suggest. So I wouldn't judge him too harshly on this. Seems he'll be going to the big Grade 1 at Christmas at Leopardstown, 2 mile. And I'm sure he'll acquit himself well there, whatever's in the race. He remains like a big sort of place contender for me for either the Champion Chase or the Ryanair. And just at the moment, it's seeming more likely Champion Chase, but that could change maybe. Banbridge looked fat. I mean, I'm no expert paddock judge or anything, but he did look fat here to me. He was nowhere near fit. Connections have got a big red ring around the King George, and they're just building him up for that, I think. Captain Guinness, he suffered with that fibrillating heart thing again. It happened to him once last season. He did bounce back from that, so it seems a similar sort of thing here. Hopefully he'll be fine. If it's not, Connections love this fella to bits like he owes them nothing, so I'm sure if things aren't fine they'll just retire him. But he bounced back from it last season, so maybe he will again. Yeah, that's that one. Yeah, just getting my thoughts on these things. I mean, I'll get plenty wrong, as you might have cottoned on by now if you've been watching a while. 2 mile 1 beginners down memory lane. He beat King of Kingsfield 7 lengths. Nürburgring another 1 3/4 lengths back in third. A lot to unpack from this race. I think this were quite deep. That was a bit of a messy. I nearly gave up with this, trying to break it down the race, but I'll give it a go. Down memory lane and back to normal. Quickly went 5 clear or so, with down memory lane just shading it. King of Kingsfield sat in third, and the rest were another 4 lengths or so behind him at this point. Around the third fence, Nürburgring moved into a clear fourth. After the fourth, down memory lane went on into a clear lead. Nürburgring was awkward at the fifth, and around there, Birdie or Bust moved into a sort of clear fifth. Doing alright so far with it. Fourth last, the chasing back kind of bunched up a couple of lengths behind down memory lane. On the approach to the second last, King of Kingsfield looked to be travelling the best here. Between the last two, he came under pressure, and momentarily, like Birdie or Bust, came to challenge them both there. Approaching the last, however, like down memory lane, were again going the best, clearly. He jumped that well, he was shaken up and went on again, and went readily clear. He never had to resort to the whip in the end. At that last, both King of Kingsfield and Birdie or Bust sort of made mistakes, and Nürburgring stayed on well on the run in to claim third from Birdie or Bust. Back to normal, finished fifth, and they were clear of the rest. Yeah. Right then, so a lot to unpack from this, I'd say. This is a race that probably, is he's worth watching back a few times. Down memory lane, yeah, he defied a big drift in the market, didn't he? I thought 4-1 the night before were fine price. You know, it were twos. Sorry, 1 minute. Yeah, with twos in places, he finished 7-1 here. Not sure what the story were there, but there's a lot of stuff we never get to find out, do we? Maybe he missed a couple of days' work or something. He showed loads of pace here in the race, and he jumped for fun, and he was strong to the line. This was really impressive, and he looks a definite Arkle contender. You know, if you're kind of looking for negatives with him, he only ran twice last season, so he's kind of got to prove his robustness through the season, I guess. But yeah, this was really impressive. Jump fantastic, loads of pace, gears. King of Kingsfield, I can say there's only us here, isn't there? I think he's a pig, this horse. He just is. He just does nothing off the bridle, does he? Yeah, a record of 2 from 12 under rules now. I know he's kept some good company, but he'll probably pop in something one day, but he won't have my money on him, just let him win. But the 3rd, 4th and 5th, I think, are all interesting here. Nürburgring, yeah, he was a 4-year-old, didn't he? Galway hurdle winner. You'd say he could be interesting for handicaps up in trip in the spring. Once he's got his mark, he's sort of stayed on well here, and you suspect another half mile might see him to better effect. Birdie or Bust, though, I would say is the big eye catcher here. Yeah, she moved through to challenge nicely before getting tired between the last two. I think she'll come on a lot for this. She were a big improver last spring. She split Brighter Days Ahead and Jade Jagruzi in that mare's novice at Cheltenham. I only beat 3.5 lengths, In terms of the mare's chase, I wouldn't know if she'll stay 2.5. I mean, she might improve for it. I don't know. She's never ran like she's screaming out for further. But yeah, I mean, maybe she'll improve for it. I don't know. And JP does have lots of options in that race, doesn't he? He's got the first 3 in the market at the moment. She's 25s for that, and it's kind of tempting, isn't it? But if it's that or handicaps or whatever, I'm not quite sure. But she's definitely one to keep an eye on. This was really promising. Back to normal. Yeah, he improved for the switch to Gavin's, didn't he, last year, taking out 2.5 mile auction series final in good style at Punchestown. So his first run since, he travelled and jumped well here. Jumped well generally. I think he maybe made one mistake. And he'll be one to bear in mind for handicaps in the spring, I'd have thought. There's a couple of 2.5 mile handicap chases, isn't there, at the Punchestown Festival. And he won well there last season, so maybe one of those you could it'd be interesting maybe for something like that. I'll just finish off with a bumper. Winnill won in good style here. Looks a nice sort of horse. He Can't Dance were withdrawn with a stone bruise. Another stone bruise. And I thought Connection showed remarkable foresight in putting the first jockey up on the second string here. Yeah. If he took the 7-2, that equated to around 9-4, and he finished sort of 6-4, so he'd have done alright with that one. That's 3 times in 3 weeks now. Look at these stone bruises, aren't they? Sunday. Right, I'm not going to go into so much detail on these races just because, we're doing this last night, getting to early hours and getting tired, so forgive me that. Cheltenham, good ground, good to soft places, 2.5 mile novice handicap chase. Yeah, Peaky Boy beat Weston in the park, 2.5 lengths here. Looked a touch outpaced for much of the race to me, but he stayed on strongly up the hill. And he does like that hill, doesn't he? He's 3 from 3 now at Cheltenham, all for Nicky. It's very rare Nicky starts out a novice chaser at Cheltenham. And that probably says plenty about Nicky's confidence in this fella. He took this off a marker 132. That novice handicap chase could be an option for him, but watching him, you'd imagine he could improve plenty for another half a mile or so, and I'd have him down as a Browns contender, this fella. Just give a quick mention to Primoz. He's an impressive looking beast, isn't he, this fella? He jumped and travelled great for a long way before kind of stopping to nothing and finishing well beat. This was his first try at 2.5 miles. Maybe he didn't stay, or maybe he kind of wants a flat track. He's 2 from 2 at Ayr. Interesting to note that. Back down in trip. Somewhere like an Ayr or an Aintree or something, it could be interesting still. Right then, 2 mile Greatwood Hurdle, Burdett Road, be aware half a length with Dysart Enos, another 3 length back in third. As I mentioned, right, I went to York, so this weekend. I'll tell you about this because it didn't win, so it's not like after timing or anything, But I wanted Dysart Enos for decent bet here. We were having a drink Friday night just before we went out for something to eat. Most of my bets are just straight wins. But every now and then, it's probably quite rare that within a day or two I've got like several that I fancy, but I did fancy quite a few this weekend. So when that happens, sometimes I'll just chuck like 4 or 5 together in a bet. I always go 1 under, so if I do like 5 folds, 5 horses, I'll do like 4 folds and 5 folds. Just chuck a little bit at it, and it's just, if you're ever going to win massive or something, that's the way you're going to do it, in it really. So I do sometimes sort of give myself the luxury a little go like that. So we were just having a drink, and I just thought, oh, go on, I'll chuck a few together. Literally took me 2 minutes to do it. It was just like, add to basket, just whatever, and put them on. Once I put in Waluda Sud, Beluda Vassi, Down Memory Lane, Winnie Hill, Dysart Enos, and American Mike, and I did like 5 and 6 folds. So the first 4 all went in, didn't they? I only had like 20 odd quid on it, but I stood to win like 14 grand if those 2 had gone in on Sunday. There's a reason why bookies like handicaps, none of those are the 4 handicaps, were they? So, I did lay a little bit off on Mike, and I saved a little bit on Burdett Road. It kind of looked a 2-horse sort of race, didn't it? Kind of, even though it were a competitive handicap, like. I'll try again anyway, but yeah, I had a bit of excitement for a while on Sunday with that. Um, I never cash out, by the way. No, I think I think once I cashed out years ago. I backed a goal for about 380 quid or something if he won. I think he were five clear with the back nine to play, and they were offering me like 360 or something. We're literally like 20 odd quid under the full amount, so I just took it. And funny enough, he did win, but he only won by one. He sort of fell to pieces, and yeah, he just clung on in the end. I was kind of cheering the other fella on, but there you go. But yeah, don't cash out, always play on. It's like, for me personally, I'd be more gutted if I ever took the cash out and they all won than by just leaving it and they lose. Like, that's the way I look at it. But not everyone's the same. Um, but anyway, I digress. Back to this race. Yeah, so I was kind of wanting Dysart Enos here, even though American Mike had already kind of gone down. But never once watching the race did I think Dysart Enos was going to beat Burdett Road here. To me, he looked a completely different animal. His jumping were a mess last season, and that's kind of what tipped me towards Dysart Enos. But he jumped out in front, hurdled great, and he always looked in control here. They're going the champion hurdle route now. Fair play to him. I mean, he's took an handicap at the end of day off 133, but behind Constitutional there's really nothing over here. So yeah, fair play to him. But this were a big performance. I mean, he's got to improve a fair whack on it to be winning a champion hurdle, but on this day, this were a big performance. I mean, it looked a red hot race. It often works out well. This, and they were like two exceptionally well handicapped looking horses, weren't they? And one won and the other came third. The one that split them was Be Aware. It's the first time I've ever seen this fella. Probably a touch flattered as the big two sort of got it at it quite early, and he came from way back late and through late, didn't he? But he split two really exceptionally well handicapped horses here. The only thing I'll say, this is the only time I've seen him, them 4-2s in a row do look a bit off-putting, don't they? I'd have to probably watch his other races as well just to see if there's something in that. That just sound a little note of caution there. I mean, you can forgive him for not getting the better of this guy, Burdett Road off 133. He's rarely going to bump into one as well handicapped as this. As I mentioned previous, the Dan Skelton, he's a whiz in that county hurdle, isn't he? Yeah, I mean, he'll probably go up 3 or 4 for this, maybe, and he might not bump into anything as well handicapped as Burdett Road in a county hurdle. He could even maybe sort of try going up further in trip, I don't know. So I don't know much about the horse, but this was a big run from him. And Dan Skelton, you know what he's like with these handicaps. Dysart Enos, yes, she was touch keen for a seasonal return. I mean, she looked plenty fit enough, but in that sense, I think she should be able to improve a little bit on this. If she settles a little bit better next time. As such, off 131, surely she's got a big pot in her. She's got to off this rating. I'd have reservations personally about the 2.5. I think in the mares at Cheltenham, but yeah, you can imagine she's got a big day in one of these handicaps. Right then, that's all Cheltenham done. Navan, we were yielding, good to yielding in places. A 2 mile mare's maiden hurdle. Oh God. Here we go. Cast a spell beat Qualameter 2 lengths. Sorry, I apologise. Jesus, she were fairly hammered in, like she just you just how far away it. She weren't getting beat. 8 to 11 into 100 to 30 on. I just thought I'd sit back, watch this dancing, and be like the 10 to 1 favourite for Mares after this, for Mares Novice Hurdle. Yeah. Now look, right. Basically, she was just far too keen here. Um, I don't think she dropped the bit till around 3 out. Jack did a fair old job of trying to keep a lid on her, but you just can't race like that. You can't race with a choke out the full race, and quite predictably, I guess, in the end, she got mowed down after the last. She's a fine looking mare, plenty of scope about her. Hopefully, with this run under her belt, she'll settle better next time. She does have time on her side, and if she learns to race, you could yet see a different Qualameter. So don't give up on her just yet. But we're kind of giving up on her and throwing her in the recycle bin. Yeah, I did actually cash her out, to be honest. But after watching her back, she's 66 to 1 now. I cashed her out for a small loss. I think I'm going to have to chuck a bit of change on her each way at 66s. We'll know next time. Obviously she's got to improve, stones on this. But she could do. It probably won't, to be honest, but she's certainly going to improve. If she improves enough to be winning a Mares Novice Hurdle, maybe not, you'd have to say, hence the 66s, but that's a big price, isn't it? A bit of change each way on that, I think, just in case. Like I say, if she learns to race, she'll be a different horse, Right. So yeah, apologies that didn't go to plan, did it? I thought it would, to be honest, but it didn't. 2.5 mile Grade 3 Monksfield Novice Hurdle. The Yellow Clay beat Where's My Jet 10 lengths. Yeah, look, he won this really well, and he looks a really nice horse, doesn't he? Cheltenham, no, not really for me. He's Gunnar the Lawlers and Nace next. You'd have a little question mark over winter ground for this horse. I know Gordon said a few times last season he likes good ground. I think he pulled him out once or twice on sort of deep ground. Could be a Gold Cup winner one day, this horse. But I'm kind of thinking Ascot Gold Cup or Melbourne Cup. I don't know. There's just something about this horse. I think he could be quite a classy stayer on the flat. Might be a mile away there, but yeah, I just wonder. Oh, it's told me about storage space. Hopefully you don't get cut off here. Right, Prens Guard a Toy. Yeah, I was never good at French, really. Beat 16 lengths here. I don't know why, I just like this horse. He's only 5 and he looks very slow, but he really tries. He does. He's a trier, He looks to me like he's crying out for 3 mile, maybe winter ground, maybe both. He's had 3 runs already. He's good at actually going for the 5 here to get him handicapped for the Martin Pipe. I don't know. I didn't think they'd do that with the novices. I thought, it'd be more likely, Willies that have had a couple of runs in France, but he might be. But yeah, he's just an horse I'm interested in. I've still got that Limerick 3 mile race at Christmas, or maybe he's going to go Martin Pipe way. I don't know. If he gives him another run in the next couple of weeks and then leaves him off, brings him back, runs him over 2 mile, he runs surprisingly well. Yeah, maybe something like that. Something like that. We'll see. Right then, 3 mile Troy Town handicap chase. Stu Zucchini beat Lucid Dreams 2.5 lengths here. To be honest, I hadn't gone through this race in much depth, do you know, in terms of like the winner and the second. I'll have to look back on it a bit more. I'm just going to talk about a couple of horses from here. Right, American Mike, yeah, you know, he took it up with that brilliant jump, didn't he? 4 out, went a couple up. I'm like, here we go, 14 grand. Yeah, I was still dreaming of that at that point. Soon after that, you know, quickly after that, the writing won the war, really. I'll be honest with you, I just think he found the ground too quick, this horse. He did. I don't think he just didn't let himself on the down on it, you know, like when they really got racing after 4 out, and he kind of just looked after himself. And Jack minded him, like, you know. If you look through his form, you know, all his best forms on soft, heavy. And I'm not just saying this, honest. I do think on soft, heavy ground it could have been a different story, this. I mean, where he goes from here, I mean, this were the plan for him, I'm sure, you know. So where he goes from here, I'm not sure. Thyestes might be a shout for him, but he's not the most predictable, is he, after his first run of the season, you know. So I'd say Thyestes might be a good target for him. And, you know, the first time, I'm sure he's a bit better than a 145 horse, but he's not reliable. You can't trust him, can you? Just that first run of the season seemed the time here at Navan. I just don't think he got his ground in the end, you know, so apologies there. I'm hoping he'd be alright. Yeah, the first time he gets his ground off 145, I'll give him a chance, like, you know, but, you know, he'd be a little bit cautious, you know, he can just, I think he's got more than one issue, this horse, you know, he's probably got sore shins or something and somewhere else as well, but they have a lot of problems we don't know about, don't they? You know, I remember someone saying once, if you knew half of the problems these horses have, you'd never have a bet, like, you know. The other horse I wanted to give a quick mention to was Percival Le Gaulois. This is an horse I've never really took note of, you know, it always seems to be popular. He ran well here again, ran a few races like this, so I'm just hoping I'm not running out here. Maybe I should quicken up a little. Right, much the best race he's ran over fences was at Leopardstown last season, you know, when he came down at the last, didn't he, when about to challenge Hartwood. Now, even if he'd have got beat 3, 4, 5 lengths that day, that would have been his best run over fences. And maybe he'd have done a little bit better than that, because Hartwood were absolutely thrown in that day. He has crept up a little bit in the weights. Maybe he's not so well handicapped. His trainer has suggested that. Maybe that's true. Maybe it really is. His victory before that, his previous win, was also at Leopardstown in 3 mile handicap hurdle. I'm not totally convinced he wants 3 mile, but maybe. But anyhow, there's 2 big handicaps at Leopardstown, isn't there? There's the 3 mile one at Christmas and the same race at the DRF that he ran in last year. And, you know, there'll be hot enough contests with well handicapped horses, but I'd imagine he'd hit the frame in those sort of races, and he may just pop in one of them. Right, we'll crack on then. The last race, I think. The 2.5 mile beginners, Better Days Ahead beats Slade Steel 4 lengths. Right, we're just going to focus on these two horses for this race. Better Days Ahead led, tracked by Slade Steel. Better Days Ahead slowed into the second and it cost him a couple of lengths. Better Days Ahead reached for the fourth, got away with that. Slade Steel wasn't great 4 out and he was shaken up to close on the approach to 3 out. You know, and from the approach to 2 out until the last, he was kind of asked to challenge, but he was never really getting there. Better Days Ahead stayed on well for comfortable enough success. He was noticeably left at the last 3, but it didn't seem to lose him any momentum. 2 festival winners here, you know, these are classy horses, I think. 2 quality horses. Better Days Ahead is always appealed as like a potentially classy staying chaser in the making. He took out the Martin Pipe, which has got a fair old record at producing like grade 1 staying chasers. You know, I do suspect that Martin Pipe will prove to be decent form. I think that'll look good like this time next year. Noticeably in that Martin Pipe, he looked beat for me at the bottom of the hill. I thought he would book for 3rd or 4th, but he stayed on really strongly up the hill in the heavy ground. I'm sure he'll improve plenty for 3 miles, this guy. And it augurs well that he's not devoid of pace either. He ticks an awful lot of boxes for this Browns. He's got winning festival form, he's the right sort of age, you know, it's quite likely, I think, to be an attritional sort of contest this year. It's going to be a bigger field size than normal. If the ground comes up soft heavy again, he's going to take some getting. You would just say he's got to straighten up his jumping here. He was noticeably left, weren't he? Maybe that'll come with practice. And maybe the ground he found a touch quick. I would say 16-1 is still more than fair for him. He's got to be a big contender on the day, I think, for this Browns. Slade Steel, he would also probably prefer a bit more cut in the ground. And as is often the case with Henry's classy novice chasers, he were given a lovely kind of educational fencing debut. You know, the emphasis with Henry with these horses is very much on getting round safe and sound and just enjoying the day out, you know. He ran a similar sort of race to Birdie or Bust, didn't he, you know, 24 hours earlier. Yeah, again, he looked a little fat to me, but I'm no expert, you know. He's going to be a different proposition next time. I won't lose any sort of, you know, he loses nothing here for me. His trip, I'm not sure about. I suspect he'll end up in an arc-up, but he could go round, so you never know. Alright then, I've got to crack on here because I'm going to run out soon, I think. Performance of the week then. I found this really difficult this week, I did, I'll be honest. Weren't quite sure how to sort of stagger these. First, I gave to Burdett Road in the end, you know. I know it was just an handicap off 133, but he looked a different animal to me. And I think that's probably as good handicap hurdle form as you'll see this season. Yeah, just never. He always looked in control of the race. I didn't think he would ever get him beat. Second, in the end, I gave to Luda Sud. Already looks like a 150s horse. This is a much better chaser than hurdler. He did everything well here. The way he's sort of came home after the last up this hill and first time out has left